Hello and welcome to an exciting new episode of my review show, because today, not only management has sent us a new game to look at, but also its box and manual.
As you can see, the box itself looks like it was run over by a truck, which is not surprising if you know our management. It seems to have some sort of knight, wearing a visor not unlike Geordi's from Star Trek or possibly Cyclops from X-Men, riding a bird which is also wearing armor, and of course he's holding his jousting stick, which I believe the term is a lance. And on the back of the box we find out that it's an exciting medieval battle, and they've given us a little bit of a blurb which sounds a little bit like a movie trailer pitch, so let's see if I can read it in the voice. Knights on Birdback. In days of old, when knights were bold, they never saw anything like this. You don your helmet, climb into a suit of armor, and hoist your lance. You're entering the medieval world of Joust. Fly your faithful ostrich steed into battle against the fearless evil buzzard riders in deep space. Pterodactyls to the right of you, alien eggs to the left. Hold tight as riders do their best to knock you off your bird. This is a joust to the finish. This summer, an exciting medieval battle in space. Joust. So let's have a look at the game itself. As you can see, the graphics are completely gorgeous, and you can tell that you are mounted on an ostrich in space. You look good, and your opponents look good. Speaking of opponents, in this game you have 4 types. The red one, which the manual tells me is called the Bounders. The grey one, which actually looks white, and the manual tells me are the Hunters. And the blue one, which are called the Shadow Lords. You also have the Pterodactyl and a lava pit, which isn't technically a bad guy, but it will ruin your day if you fall into it. The manual tells me that if I hit the Pterodactyl directly on its beak, I can kill it and earn extra points. I've never actually managed to do this, so I just try to avoid him instead. The controls in this game are quite difficult. You have to hit the red button to flap, and you use the pleasure stick to control yourself. It's a little bit hard to really keep yourself on the level or really control where you're going, but you do get the knack of it eventually. To kill any opponent aside from the lava or the pterodactyl, you simply hit it from above. At first I was going to make the obvious comparison between this and that scene in James Cameron's Avatar, but I realized it reminds me a lot stronger of the skybacks from Dinotopia. If you've not seen that movie, go and watch it, because it is fantastic. In fact, come to think of it, the leader of the Skybacks from Dinotopia even looks a little bit like the Joust character from the cover of the game. If you hit the opponent from exactly the same height you are, you just bounce off, which is good because it's better than dying. Speaking of dying, there are a few cheap deaths in this game. If you respawn with a bird over top of you, you just explode, which really sucks. I mean, over in Asteroids, if there's something about to hit you when you're gonna spawn, it just doesn't spawn you until it's past, it's a lot fairer than just dying as soon as you've started. Every few rounds you come across an egg round, which is just a bunch of eggs bouncing around the screen that you can collect for extra points. However, if you do not pick up an egg in time, it will turn into another Joust character who's trying to kill you. If you get 20,000 points, you get an extra life, which brings me to something I'd like to commend about this game. If you remember my review on Asteroids and that scene from Guardians of the Galaxy, the game, you would know that I complained a lot about the fact that the life counter shows you how many lives you have, not how many lives you have left. Well, this game finally gets it right, and it actually shows how many lives you have left. Another commendable thing about this game is, like that scene from Guardians of the Galaxy, the game, you can play 2-player and you're both on the screen at the same time. Even cooler, you can kill each other. It might seem petty, but it's good fun. Aside from that, there's really not much else you can say about this game. It's well designed, the graphics are gorgeous, it works well, and it's great fun. If you've ever fantasized about riding an ostrich into battle in space, then go down to your local video store and pick up a copy of Joust on the Atari 2600. And while you're there, pick up a copy of Dinotopia. It's also pretty damn good.